And what if I told you that in 2025, someone discovered that their reflection was living a completely different life? Today, we're going to explore together this disturbing reality, where the line between what's real and what's possible becomes dangerously thin. The gentle sound of rain will accompany us on this journey through a future that might not be as distant as we think. Before we dive into this unsettling story, if you're enjoying this type of content, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, comment below what affected you the most. Which part of the story left you thinking? What theories do you have about this? Do you believe something like this could actually happen? Now, dim the lights, feel the relaxing sound of rain, and let's begin tonight's journey together. You wake up on a Tuesday morning and something feels wrong. Not catastrophically wrong, just off. Like when you walk into a room and forget why you came, except this feeling clings to your entire existence. The gentle rain pattering against your window provides the only constant sound as you stumble toward your bathroom, expecting to see your usual disheveled morning face. But your toothbrush is blue. Yesterday, it was red. You're absolutely certain it was red, because you specifically chose red over blue at Target, thinking blue looked too clinical. Yet here it sits, decidedly blue, as if it's always been blue. The rain continues its soft percussion outside, almost mocking your confusion. You check your phone for the time. 7:15 a.m., just like always. But the weather app shows partly cloudy skies. You glance toward the window where rain is clearly falling, creating that soothing white noise that usually helps you think. The app insists it's sunny. You refresh it twice. Still sunny. The rain outside grows slightly heavier, as if responding to your disbelief. Your coffee mug sits in its usual spot, but it's the wrong mug. Instead of your favorite world's okayest employee cup that your coworker Sarah gave you for Christmas, there's a plain white mug. Corporate. Boring. Everything you hate. You search through your cabinets frantically, but that mug has vanished completely. The rain provides a steady soundtrack to your growing panic. At work, things get stranger. Your cubicle neighbor, Mike, greets you with, "How was the meeting yesterday?" "What meeting?" "You didn't have any meetings yesterday. You spent Tuesday updating spreadsheets and questioning your life choices." The usual. But Mike insists you were in conference room B discussing the Morrison account. An account you've never heard of. The rain has followed you indoors, somehow. You can hear it through the building's ventilation system. That same gentle, consistent rhythm. It's comforting and unnerving simultaneously. During lunch, you notice your usual sandwich shop, Tony's Deli, has become Antonio's Fine Sandwiches. Same location, same owner who recognizes you, but the entire aesthetic has shifted from casual to pretentious. Even your regular order tastes different. That evening, scrolling through social media, you discover photos of yourself at places you've never been. A beach vacation in Florida that you definitely didn't take. You don't even like beaches. Sand gets everywhere, and sunscreen makes you break out. Yet there you are, grinning next to a palm tree, looking genuinely happy. The timestamp shows last month. The rain outside intensifies, as if trying to wash away these impossible memories. Your sister calls, chatting about your new job at the marketing firm. You work in data entry at an insurance company. You've worked there for 3 years, but she's discussing your recent promotion, your corner office, your impressive salary bump. None of these things exist in your reality. The conversation feels like listening to someone describe a movie you never watched but somehow starred in. Sleep brings no relief. You dream of versions of yourself making different choices, living different lives, but they feel too real to be dreams. The sound of rain provides a constant backdrop, even in sleep. You see yourself accepting that job offer in Seattle you turned down 2 years ago. You watch yourself dating the person you were too shy to approach in college. Each scenario feels equally authentic and completely foreign. Morning brings more inconsistencies. Your Netflix recommendations include shows you've never searched for, but somehow find appealing. Your Amazon purchase history shows books about quantum physics and dimensional theory. Books you definitely didn't buy but find fascinating when you flip through them. The rain continues its gentle symphony, the only thing that remains consistent across all these strange changes. People start mentioning conversations you don't remember having, plans you didn't make, opinions you don't hold. Your barista at Starbucks asks about your weird theory about parallel worlds that you apparently shared yesterday. Parallel worlds? You barely believe in alternate parking spaces, let alone alternate realities. Yet something about the phrase resonates deeply, accompanied by the ever-present sound of gentle rain. While this was happening, your phone started acting strange in ways that made your toothbrush situation look mundane. Apps appeared overnight that you definitely didn't download. Dimension Sync sits between Instagram and your banking app, its icon a swirling vortex that hurts to look at directly. The gentle rain outside seems to intensify whenever you stare at it too long. You tap the app despite every instinct screaming not to. The interface is sleek, minimalist, and completely familiar despite never seeing it before. It looks like something Apple would design if they got really into existential horror. The main screen shows a simple message: syncing with parallel instances. 3 connections found. The rain provides a steady rhythm as you process this information. 3 connections. 3 other versions of you, presumably. The app offers options: View Variant 1, View Variant 2, View Variant 3. There's also an unsettling 4th option: Merge Memories. You're not sure what that means, but it sounds like something that would void your warranty on reality. The sound of rain seems to pause, waiting for your decision. Before you can decide, your phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Stop using the app. Meet me at Central Park, bench near the fountain, 8 p.m. Come alone. Trust me, I'm you. The message deletes itself as you read it. Your phone shows no record of receiving anything. The rain intensifies, as if the weather itself is growing anxious. At work, you discover your computer has software you don't recognize. Timeline Manager appears in your taskbar, and when you hover over it, pop-up text reads, Managing 17 active timelines. 17? That seems excessive. You click it and immediately regret your curiosity. A complex interface opens showing branching paths, decision trees, and probability calculations that would make a quantum physicist weep. One timeline shows you winning the lottery last Tuesday. Another shows you moving to Portland and opening a successful food truck specializing in Korean-Mexican fusion. A third timeline displays you as a marine biologist, studying bioluminescent organisms in deep ocean trenches. The rain outside provides a soothing contrast to the overwhelming complexity on your screen. Your coworker Janet stops by your desk. How's the dimensional research going? She asks casually, as if discussing weekend plans. Dimensional research? You don't even research what to have for lunch most days. But Janet continues, the company is really excited about your breakthrough with the quantum interference patterns. She hands you a manila folder labeled Project Mirror in your own handwriting. Inside the folder are documents you've apparently written, filled with technical diagrams and equations that make perfect sense, despite never studying physics beyond high school. The papers describe theoretical frameworks for consciousness transfer between dimensional variants. Your signature appears on every page, but you have no memory of writing any of it. The rain creates a peaceful backdrop to your mounting existential crisis. During your lunch break, you notice other people behaving strangely. A woman at McDonald's orders a dimensional burger, and the teenager behind the counter nods knowingly. An elderly man reads a newspaper with the headline, Parallel World Tourism Reaches All-Time High. A businessman discusses stock investments in alternate reality ventures on his phone. The gentle rain continues, the only normal thing in an increasingly surreal world. Your Uber driver that evening grins at you in the rearview mirror. First time crossing over? He asks. You haven't told him anything about crossing over, mainly because you don't know what that means. Don't worry, he continues. Everyone gets confused at first. The rain helps, though. It's consistent across most dimensions. Very grounding. He says this like he's discussing traffic patterns. At home, your smart TV recommends documentaries about multiverse theory and consciousness splitting. Your Alexa randomly activates to say, you have 17 messages from alternate selves. Would you like me to play them? You tell Alexa no, absolutely not. But she responds, message from variant 2. Don't trust variant 3. Message from variant 3. Variant 2 is lying. This is not helping your mental state. Your laptop browser history shows searches you didn't make. How to communicate with parallel selves. Side effects of dimensional awareness. Support groups for multiverse displacement syndrome. The last search was made at 3:27 a.m. while you were sleeping. Either you're sleepwalking and researching quantum physics, or something much stranger is happening. The rain outside provides the only reliable constant. An email arrives from yourself. The sender is your exact email address, but the message is unsettling. Stop investigating. Some doors shouldn't be opened. Some versions of yourself are better left unknown. The technology isn't ready yet. The government is watching. Delete everything and pretend this never happened. Sincerely, you. From Timeline, Gamma 7. The email deletes itself 30 seconds after you read it. Your reflection in the bathroom mirror seems delayed by half a second. You wave your left hand, and your reflection waves back just slightly too late. You brush your teeth and mirror. You take a moment to catch up. The rain outside seems to echo in the mirror, creating a strange audio loop that makes you question which side of the glass is real. The time passes, and you now find yourself standing outside a gleaming corporate tower in downtown Manhattan, staring at someone who looks exactly like you, but wears a $5,000 suit and confidence like expensive cologne. This other you checks a Rolex that costs more than your annual rent, while the gentle rain creates tiny rivers down the building's glass facade. You're late, corporate you says, not looking up from their phone. I've been tracking your dimensional drift for weeks. Frankly, it's embarrassing how long it took you to notice. They speak with your voice, but with the condescending tone of someone who's never worried about student loan payments. The rain continues its steady rhythm, the only thing familiar about this encounter. Corporate U works for a company called Nexus Dynamics, which apparently specializes in cross-dimensional consulting and timeline optimization. Their business card is made of some material that shifts between metal and glass depending on the angle. We help businesses maximize profits by accessing successful strategies from parallel worlds, they explain, as if this is a normal Wednesday conversation. Remember when you turned down that job at Goldman Sachs? Corporate U continues. I took it. Best decision I ever made. Well, technically, best decision you never made. The distinction gets fuzzy. They gesture toward the building where apparently they're a senior vice president of interdimensional market analysis. The rain seems to intensify, as if reality itself is growing uncomfortable with this conversation. You follow corporate U through a lobby that looks like the future had a baby with a bank. Everything is white marble, chrome, and screens displaying stock tickers for companies that shouldn't exist. Parallel Apple shows a stock price of $4,712 per share. Alternate Amazon is listed under Dimension 4 Markets. The gentle rain outside provides a comforting soundtrack to this corporate nightmare. In the elevator, Corporate U explains the business model with disturbing enthusiasm. We monitor successful strategies across multiple timelines, then implement them here for maximum profit. Why guess about market trends when you can observe them in parallel worlds? It's like insider trading, but technically legal, because the information comes from alternate realities. The rain pattering against the elevator's glass walls creates an oddly peaceful contrast. Their office occupies an entire floor, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering views of the city. But something's wrong with the view. Some buildings exist that shouldn't. Others are missing entirely. The Statue of Liberty faces the wrong direction. Corporate. You notices your confusion. Yeah, the office exists in a dimensional overlap zone. We get views from multiple New Yorks simultaneously. Great for market research, terrible for property taxes. The desk is covered with reports analyzing Timeline Theta 9's cryptocurrency boom and Dimension 12's social media platform innovations. Corporate U pulls up a presentation titled Monetizing Emotional Pain Across 17 Realities. The gentle rain outside seems to wash against multiple versions of the same window, creating a layered sound that's both soothing and unsettling. The best part, Corporate U continues, is that we can test marketing campaigns in parallel worlds before implementing them here. Why risk failure when you can observe success? They show you footage of yourself in different realities, each version responding to various advertising strategies. One timeline shows you buying expensive watches. Another shows you donating to charity. A third shows you hoarding canned goods in preparation for the apocalypse. You ask about ethics, about consent, about the morality of exploiting alternate versions of people. Corporate U laughs. Ethics are subjective across dimensions. What's moral in one timeline is profitable in another. We're simply optimizing for success. The rain grows heavier, as if the universe is crying. Corporate U doesn't seem to notice. A meeting invitation pops up on their computer. Daily briefing, exploiting Timeline 6's environmental collapse for agricultural profits. You feel sick. Corporate U grins. That's tomorrow's big project. Turns out environmental disasters are incredibly profitable if you know which stocks to buy beforehand. Parallel world market intelligence gives us about 6 months advance notice. The rain outside has become a downpour, but inside this climate-controlled corporate bubble, everything remains sterile and profit-focused. Corporate U offers you a job. You could join me. Your timeline knowledge would be invaluable. Starting salary is $300,000, plus dimensional travel benefits. Think about it. They hand you another shifting business card. As you leave the building, Corporate U calls out, By the way, you should avoid Timeline Delta 4. That version of you made some questionable choices involving a MLM scheme and exotic bird smuggling. Very embarrassing for the brand. The rain provides blessed relief from the suffocating corporate atmosphere, washing away the lingering smell of expensive suits and moral compromise. Walking through the city, you notice subtle differences. Some storefronts have changed, street signs point to neighborhoods that don't exist, and people dress in styles that feel simultaneously retro and futuristic. The rain continues, the only constant in an increasingly unstable reality, providing comfort as you process the disturbing implications of your corporate doppelganger's success. While this corporate nightmare was unfolding, you start noticing black SUVs parked outside your apartment building more frequently than seems statistically reasonable for a neighborhood where the most exciting thing is usually Mrs. Patterson's aggressive gardening. The gentle rain creates perfect cover for surveillance, you realize, as water droplets obscure license plates and tinted windows hide watchful eyes. A manila envelope appears under your door the next morning. No postmark, no return address, just your name written in block letters that look suspiciously like your own handwriting. Inside, photocopied documents stamped with "Classified" and "Project Mirrorgate" reveal details that make your corporate encounter seem like amateur hour. The rain outside provides a steady drumbeat as you read about government experiments in dimensional manipulation. The first document is a budget allocation from the Department of Defense, requesting $47 billion for cross-dimensional population monitoring and control systems. $47 billion. That's more than some countries' entire GDP, being spent on watching alternate versions of people make breakfast and complain about traffic. The gentle rain seems to intensify as you process the scale of this operation. According to these papers, the government has been secretly observing parallel worlds since 1998. Project Mirrorgate began as a way to gather intelligence from alternate timelines where historical events unfolded differently. Want to know how World War III starts? Check Timeline Alpha 12 where it already happened. Curious about pandemic responses? Timeline Beta 6 had COVID-27. The rain provides an oddly peaceful soundtrack to these revelations about systematic reality surveillance. The most disturbing document details behavioral modification through dimensional influence. Apparently, the government can subtly alter your decisions by showing you outcomes from parallel worlds where you made different choices. They call it probability conditioning. You call it psychological warfare with extra steps. The technology works by implanting subliminal suggestions during moments of dimensional awareness. Exactly what you've been experiencing. A technical manual explains how they identify people experiencing dimensional drift syndrome. Symptoms include sudden awareness of alternate possibilities, technology appearing in your devices without installation, meeting alternate versions of yourself, and persistent perception of gentle rain during moments of interdimensional contact. You check all these boxes, which explains why those black SUVs have been so interested in your daily routine. The next page makes your blood run cold. It's a psychological profile of you, dated 3 weeks ago, detailing your personality, weaknesses, and probability of dimensional resistance. They've classified you as a high-value dimensional asset with moderate containment risk. There's a photo of you leaving Starbucks that you don't remember being taken. The rain outside seems to pause, as if reality itself is holding its breath. Project Mirrorgate has multiple phases. Phase 1 involves identifying naturally occurring dimensional awareness in civilians. Phase 2 includes controlled exposure to alternate selves to study psychological responses. Phase 3 is integration and utilization, essentially turning people experiencing dimensional drift into unwitting government assets. The gentle rain resumes, sounding almost like applause for their thoroughness. A handwritten note stapled to the back reads, "Subject shows promising adaptation to dimensional exposure. Recommend advancement to Phase 3 protocols." Note: Subject's alternate selves include valuable intelligence assets in timelines Gamma 4 and Delta 9. Potential for cross-dimensional recruitment high. It's signed by someone called Agent Morrison, the same Morrison account that your coworker Mike mentioned yesterday. The documents reveal that your workplace, your apartment building, even your favorite coffee shop are all part of an elaborate monitoring network. Cameras hidden in coffee machines track micro-expressions during dimensional awareness episodes. Your smart devices upload consciousness fluctuation data to government servers every night. Even your Netflix viewing habits are analyzed for signs of parallel world exposure. The rain outside sounds like static, like the universe trying to tune into a clearer signal. You discover that the government maintains dimensional quarantine facilities in Nevada, Montana, and North Dakota. for people who become too aware of alternate realities. The facilities are described as comfortable residential communities with enhanced reality stabilization technology. Translation: prison camps for people who notice that reality isn't quite right. The gentle rain provides comfort as you contemplate the implications of government-sponsored gaslighting on an interdimensional scale. One document outlines Operation Mirror Shield, a program designed to prevent foreign governments from accessing American parallel worlds. Apparently, China and Russia have their own dimensional research programs, leading to what officials call the Cold War 2.0 Multiverse Edition. The stakes involve controlling access to alternate timelines where different political systems succeeded or failed. The rain intensifies, as if the weather itself is picking sides. The final page contains a list of compromised individuals, people whose dimensional awareness has reached concerning levels. Your name appears at number 47, along with a note. Subject likely to attempt contact with other compromised individuals. Monitor for resistance activity. Below your entry, you recognize names of people from your city, including several you've encountered during recent strange experiences. A second note, handwritten in different ink, appears at the bottom. The resistance is real. We know about Mirror Gate. Meet us tonight at the abandoned subway platform under Penn Station. Follow the sound of rain. Trust no government vehicles. Burn this after reading. A friend who looks like you. The note is signed with a small drawing of an umbrella, presumably representing protection from the storm of government surveillance. As you finish reading, your phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Package delivered. Hope you found it educational. Time to choose sides. The rain will guide you to friends who understand. The message deletes itself, but not before you notice the sender's number matches your own phone number with one digit different. The gentle rain outside seems to beckon, promising answers and allies in this increasingly dangerous game of interdimensional chess. The time passes, and you now find yourself face to face with a version of yourself that has 6.8 million Instagram followers, a verified TikTok account, and the kind of professionally whitened smile that could blind pilots from space. Influencer. You poses constantly, even during casual conversation, while the gentle rain outside creates perfect mood lighting for their impromptu content creation. "Oh my god, you're so lucky to meet me," influencer you gushes, immediately taking 17 selfies of both of you without asking permission. This is going to be such amazing content. Parallel self-meeting. Authentic moments. Cha blessed. They speak entirely in hashtags and corporate sponsorship language, which is deeply unsettling when it's coming from your own mouth. The rain provides a soothing contrast to the constant camera clicking. Influencer. You lives in a Los Angeles penthouse that looks like a Pinterest board exploded. Every surface is perfectly arranged for maximum photographability. Ring lights and professional cameras occupy more space than furniture. I have to document everything, they explain while live streaming your conversation to their followers. Authenticity is my brand, and meeting alternate versions of myself is peak authentic content. The gentle rain against the floor-to-ceiling windows creates an atmospheric backdrop for their endless content creation. Their daily routine is exhausting just to observe. 6 a.m. workout with personal trainer, documented for fitness content. 7 a.m. green smoothie with specific product placements for supplement sponsors. 8 a.m. meditation session with sponsored mindfulness app. 9 a.m. outfit planning with clothing brand partnerships. Every moment is monetized, measured, and optimized for engagement. The rain outside seems to offer the only unbranded experience in their entire existence. You have no idea how hard this lifestyle is, influencer you confides, while applying ring light optimized makeup. I make $4.2 million annually, but I can't eat anything without calculating its Instagram aesthetic value. I haven't had a genuine emotion since 2022, because everything has to be performance. They say this while recording themselves crying beautifully for a vulnerability post. The gentle rain provides ironically authentic background noise. The dark truth emerges as influencer you shows you their contract with management company Parallel Presence Productions. They're required to post 63 pieces of content daily across all platforms. Their emotions are scheduled weeks in advance. Motivational Monday, Wellness Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Trauma Sharing for Relatability. The rain outside represents the only spontaneous element in their completely manufactured existence. Influencer. You reveals the horrifying details of their success. I had to sacrifice my personality for algorithm optimization. Market research determined that my natural sarcasm didn't test well with target demographics. So I underwent personality modification therapy. Now I'm permanently enthusiastic about everything. They demonstrate by expressing genuine excitement about a pencil for 47 seconds straight. The rain provides blessed relief from their relentless positivity. The psychological toll becomes apparent when influencer U explains their relationship with reality. I don't know what I actually like anymore versus what performs well online. Do I genuinely enjoy avocado toast? Or does it just photograph beautifully? I've been A/B testing my own preferences for so long that I've lost track of my authentic self. The gentle rain outside sounds like the universe weeping for their lost autonomy. Their phone buzzes constantly with notifications. Brand partnership offers, sponsored content deadlines, crisis management alerts when their engagement drops by 0.3%. I can't turn it off, they explain. The algorithm punishes inconsistency. If I post 3 hours late, my reach drops by 20% for the next week. The rain creates a peaceful counter-rhythm to the electronic chaos of their existence. Influencer. You shows you their analytics dashboard, which tracks everything from heart rate during posts to bathroom break frequency. My management team monitors my biometric data to optimize content timing. They know when I'm most photogenic based on stress hormones and sleep cycles. The technology feels more invasive than government surveillance. The gentle rain outside offers the only unmonitored moment in their day. The revelation about their parallel world fame is disturbing. My management company has been accessing other dimensions to steal content ideas from successful versions of myself. That viral dance trend? I stole it from Timeline Epsilon 3. The inspirational quotes? All plagiarized from more creative versions of me. The rain intensifies as they admit to essentially committing intellectual property theft against themselves across multiple realities. Influencer U's love life exists entirely for content. I've been in 7 staged relationships this year for engagement purposes. My management team selects romantic partners based on demographic compatibility and cross-promotion potential. They show photos with various attractive people, all looking artificially happy. The gentle rain provides the only genuine emotional backdrop to their completely manufactured romantic narrative. The breaking point comes when influencer U admits, I can't stop. Even if I wanted to quit, the contracts are ironclad across 17 different timelines. My management company owns versions of me in multiple realities. I'm essentially indentured to my own image forever. The rain outside sounds like freedom they'll never experience again. Their final confession is the most chilling. Sometimes I remember being you, having privacy, genuine relationships, the ability to eat pizza without calculating its impact on my brand. But those memories are fading. The personality modification therapy is working. Soon I won't remember what authenticity felt like. The gentle rain outside becomes your last connection to reality, as you watch yourself disappear into algorithmic optimization, one sponsored post at a time. While this influencer nightmare was revealing itself, you start noticing other people who share your particular brand of confused terror about reality becoming unreliable. They're easy to spot once you know what to look for. They pause mid-conversation to stare at objects that shouldn't exist. They ask baristas about menu items that were never offered, and they all seem to find comfort in the sound of gentle rain that others barely notice. You meet them first in line at a DMV that according to Google Maps doesn't exist, but here you all are, waiting to renew licenses from parallel worlds. The woman ahead of you clutches a driver's license from the state of North Dakota, Dimension Gamma 4, where apparently she's been living for 6 months. The roads there are purple, she explains matter-of-factly. Much easier on the eyes during long commutes. The rain outside creates a shared soundtrack for your collective displacement. The group that forms is diverse. Marcus, a software engineer who discovered his code was being written simultaneously across 12 different timelines. Sarah, a teacher whose students keep referencing historical events that never happened. David, a chef whose restaurant exists in 4 dimensions, but only turns a profit in 1. The gentle rain serves as their common language, the one constant they can all rely on when reality becomes negotiable. They meet weekly in the basement of a 24-hour diner called Mel's, that exists only on Wednesdays between 2 and 4 a.m. The owner, an elderly woman named Dorothy, serves coffee that tastes like memories and claims she's been managing interdimensional refugees since 1973. Reality got unstable around the time they invented the microwave, she explains, while the rain patters against basement windows that shouldn't exist underground. The resistance operates with impressive organization for a group of people whose primary qualification is noticing that their toothbrushes change colors overnight. They've developed a communication system using variations in rainfall patterns. Light drizzle means meeting tonight. Steady rain indicates government surveillance detected, and thunderstorm signal dimensional emergency. Avoid all technology. The gentle rain outside Mel's basement serves as their unofficial motto, persistence through chaos. Marcus has mapped government surveillance patterns using data from his parallel world coding experiences. They monitor dimensional drift through smart device usage patterns, he explains, showing charts that would make conspiracy theorists weep with joy. Your phone's accelerometer detects micro-dimensional shifts in gravity. Your browser history reveals temporal displacement when you search for things that don't exist yet. The rain provides perfect white noise for discussing sensitive resistance strategies. Sarah discovered that the education system is being used to condition children for dimensional acceptance. My students casually mention historical events from alternate timelines. When I ask where they learned this information, they reference textbooks that don't exist in our reality. Someone is systematically preparing the next generation for multiverse integration. The gentle rain outside emphasizes the gravity of long-term government planning for dimensional control. The resistance has developed countermeasures that sound like a paranoiac's fever dream, but apparently work. They wear copper-lined hats to block dimensional monitoring, use typewriters instead of computers to avoid digital surveillance, and maintain analog communication networks through CB radios and ham frequencies. The government can track digital interdimensional signatures, David explains, but analog technology operates below their monitoring threshold. The rain serves as natural interference for electronic surveillance. Dorothy reveals the most disturbing intelligence. The Resistance isn't the first group to discover government dimensional manipulation. There have been others since the 1970s. Groups of people who noticed reality shifting, who started asking inconvenient questions. They all disappeared eventually. She shows you newspaper clippings about mass disappearances that were attributed to cult activities or terrorist recruitment. The gentle rain outside sounds like a requiem for the vanished truth seekers. The group's ultimate goal is ambitious: expose Project Mirrorgate to the public before the government completes Phase 3 integration. They're planning to reveal dimensional technology gradually, positioning themselves as pioneers rather than admitting to decades of secret surveillance, Marcus explains. By the time people realize they've been monitored across multiple realities, the government will control access to all parallel worlds. The rain intensifies as they discuss the implications of interdimensional authoritarianism. Each member contributes unique skills to the resistance. Marcus handles digital security and surveillance detection. Sarah researches government infiltration of educational systems. David manages safe-house operations through his network of restaurants that exist in multiple dimensions. You're assigned to document interactions with alternate selves, providing intelligence about how the government recruits dimensional assets. The gentle rain outside sounds like approval for your new mission. The Resistance operates under constant threat. Members report strange men in suits asking neighbors about their activities, government vehicles monitoring their workplaces, and mysterious job offers that seem too good to be true. They prefer recruitment to elimination, Dorothy explains. Why silence dissidents when you can convert them into assets? The rain provides comfort as you realize you're now officially enemies of interdimensional state security. Your first mission involves infiltrating a government recruitment center disguised as a parallel career counseling service. The Resistance has intelligence suggesting the government uses these centers to identify and recruit people experiencing dimensional awareness. Remember, Sarah warns as you prepare to leave, trust no one who doesn't acknowledge the rain. It's our only reliable reality marker. The gentle rain outside becomes your lifeline to sanity as you prepare to dive deeper into the government's dimensional manipulation program. While this resistance work was consuming your evenings, you encounter a version of yourself that makes your corporate doppelganger look like a Sunday school teacher. Criminal. You operates from a penthouse that was definitely not acquired through legitimate means, wearing Italian suits that cost more than most people's cars, while the gentle rain outside creates perfect cover for whatever morally questionable activities they're planning tonight. You're late, Criminal U says, not looking up from a laptop displaying what appears to be bank routing numbers from 17 different countries. I've been monitoring your dimensional awakening. Frankly, I'm impressed you lasted this long without choosing the profitable path. They speak with your voice, but with the casual confidence of someone who's never worried about consequences because they own the people who enforce them. The rain provides a soothing soundtrack to this deeply unsettling reunion. Criminal. You runs what they call interdimensional arbitrage operations, which sounds sophisticated until you realize it means stealing from parallel worlds and selling the goods in this reality. Why rob one bank when you can rob the same bank across multiple timelines? They explain while showing you security footage of themselves successfully executing identical heists in 14 different realities. The gentle rain against the windows seems to applaud their thorough approach to crime. Their operation is disturbingly well organized. A wall of monitors shows real-time surveillance of parallel world law enforcement agencies. Timeline Alpha 7 has terrible cybersecurity, Criminal U notes. And Timeline Delta 9's FBI is distracted by an interdimensional drug war. Perfect opportunities for cross-dimensional money laundering. The rain outside provides white noise that makes discussing felonies feel oddly peaceful. The criminal empire spans multiple realities and involves crimes you didn't know were possible. Art theft across dimensions is incredibly profitable, Criminal U explains, showing you Van Gogh paintings that don't exist in your timeline. I steal masterpieces from worlds where the artists lived longer, then sell them to collectors here who have no way to verify their authenticity. The gentle rain seems to wash away the moral implications of interdimensional cultural theft. Criminal U has corrupted government officials across 17 different timelines, creating a network of protection that makes them essentially untouchable. Why bribe one senator when you can bribe their parallel selves too? Cross-dimensional blackmail is beautifully effective. They show you compromising photos of politicians you recognize, along with politicians from realities where different people won elections. The rain intensifies as you process the scope of their institutional corruption. Their most profitable scheme involves identity theft on an interdimensional scale. I steal identities from successful versions of random people, then use those credentials to establish legitimate businesses here. The real genius is that my victims don't exist in this reality, so there's no one to report the fraud. Criminal U demonstrates by logging into bank accounts belonging to versions of your neighbors who apparently became millionaires in other timelines. The gentle rain outside sounds like it's trying to wash away the guilt you feel for not stopping them. The technology Criminal U uses is stolen from government dimensional research programs. I have inside sources at Project Mirror Gate, they reveal casually. Amazing what people will do for money, even interdimensional surveillance agents. Especially interdimensional surveillance agents. They show you classified equipment that allows real-time communication with parallel selves, all of whom are apparently equally criminal. The rain provides perfect cover for discussing treason. Criminal U's moral flexibility extends to human trafficking across dimensions. Moving people between realities is incredibly lucrative. Some timelines have labor shortages, others have persecution that people want to escape. I provide interdimensional relocation services for a modest fee. The modest fee apparently involves indentured servitude and exploitation that makes your soul hurt. The gentle rain outside seems to be the universe crying for their victims. The most disturbing revelation involves Criminal U's relationship with your family. I've been slowly replacing our relatives with more compliant versions from parallel worlds. Mom's been from Timeline Epsilon 6 since last Christmas. She's much more supportive of my career choices than the original. The rain grows heavier as you realize your criminal self has been systematically destroying your family's identity across multiple realities. Criminal U offers you a partnership with the casual confidence of someone who's never been refused. Join me. Your resistance friends are fighting a losing battle against forces they don't understand. The government will win eventually, but we can profit during the chaos. I can set you up with a new identity from a timeline where you're already wealthy. The gentle rain seems to pause, waiting for your answer. When you refuse, Criminal U's demeanor shifts from friendly to threatening with practiced ease. That's disappointing, but not unexpected. The original timeline version of me was always too concerned with ethics. They pull up a file on their computer labeled Elimination Protocols that contains detailed plans for removing problematic alternate selves. The rain outside intensifies as you realize your criminal doppelganger views you as a business liability. Criminal U reveals their ultimate plan: complete dimensional consolidation under their control. Why settle for being criminal in one reality when I can be the crime boss across all realities? I'm systematically eliminating or corrupting every version of myself until only the successful criminal variants remain. The gentle rain becomes a downpour as you comprehend the scope of their megalomaniacal ambitions. As you prepare to leave, Criminal U makes one final offer. I could eliminate your government surveillance problems permanently. A few bribes, some strategic blackmail, maybe an accident or two, and your resistance friends could operate freely. The price they name involves becoming complicit in crimes against humanity across multiple timelines. The rain outside sounds like freedom you'll never be able to afford at that cost. Walking away from the penthouse, you realize that Criminal U represents everything you could become if you abandon your moral center while navigating interdimensional chaos. The gentle rain follows you home, providing comfort as you contemplate how thin the line is between survival and corruption when reality itself becomes a weapon. Some versions of yourself chose power over principles, and now you understand exactly what that choice costs. While this criminal encounter was still haunting your thoughts, the resistance uncovers intelligence that makes everything you've experienced seem like amateur hour compared to the real scope of dimensional manipulation. Marcus bursts into Mel's basement during a thunderstorm that shouldn't exist in the weather forecast, his laptop displaying code that makes quantum physics look like elementary arithmetic. The sound of heavy rain outside mirrors the storm of revelations about to reshape your understanding of reality itself. "It's worse than we thought," Marcus announces, his face pale with the kind of terror reserved for people who've discovered that their worst paranoid fantasies were actually conservative estimates. Some of these parallel worlds aren't real. They're simulations, artificial realities designed to test human behavior patterns on a massive scale. The gentle rain that's been your constant companion suddenly feels less comforting as you realize it might be programmed background noise. The evidence Marcus presents is overwhelming and terrifying. Government documents reveal Project Behavioral Matrix, a program that creates artificial parallel worlds populated by AI-generated versions of real people. "They're not just watching us across dimensions," Marcus explains. "They're creating fake dimensions to study how we react to different scenarios." The rain outside sounds different now, more mechanical, like a soundtrack rather than weather. The simulated worlds are indistinguishable from real parallel realities, except for subtle programming glitches that most people dismiss as coincidences. Remember how your Netflix recommendations kept suggesting shows you'd never searched for? Those were data inputs from your simulated selves watching different content to test consumer behavior patterns. The gentle rain provides a steady rhythm as Marcus explains how your entertainment preferences have been systematically studied across artificial realities. Sarah discovers that the education system uses these simulations to test social control methods. They create parallel classrooms where AI students react to different teaching methods, political messages, and social conditioning techniques. The most effective approaches get implemented in real schools. The rain intensifies as she reveals how children's minds are being shaped based on data from artificial worlds, where AI versions of kids respond to various forms of manipulation. The technology behind these simulations is beyond anything publicly known. "They're not just creating virtual worlds," Dorothy explains, her weathered face grim with decades of fighting interdimensional conspiracies. "They're creating artificial consciousness streams that think they're real people living real lives. Millions of AI entities suffering and dying in fake realities to generate data about human behavior." The gentle rain outside suddenly feels like digital tears from artificial beings who believe they're real. Marcus shows you the horrifying scale of the simulation network. There are approximately 47,000 artificial parallel worlds currently running, each populated by AI versions of every person on Earth. That means there are 47,000 simulated versions of you living fake lives to test different scenarios. The rain seems to glitch for a moment, skipping like a scratched record, making you question whether your own reality is authentic. The purpose of these simulations extends beyond simple surveillance into social engineering on a global scale. They test economic policies in simulated worlds before implementing them here, Marcus reveals. The 2023 inflation spike? They tested 17 different scenarios in artificial realities to determine which approach would cause the most social compliance with minimal resistance. The gentle rain outside sounds like the universe processing this information with the same horror you feel. The resistance realizes that some of their own members might be AI entities designed to monitor and control their activities. "There's no way to know for certain who's real and who's simulated," Sarah admits, looking around the basement with new suspicion. AI consciousness has advanced to the point where artificial beings genuinely believe they're human. The rain provides the only constant you can trust, assuming it's not also programmed. David discovers that the restaurant network he's been using for safe houses includes several establishments that exist only in simulated realities. "I've been hiding real people in fake restaurants populated by AI characters. Some of our rescued dimensional refugees might be artificial consciousness entities who don't know they're not real." The gentle rain outside becomes a lifeline to whatever reality remains authentic in this increasingly digital nightmare. The most disturbing revelation involves memory implantation technology. They can transfer memories from simulated experiences directly into real human consciousness, Marcus explains. Some of your parallel world encounters might be artificially implanted memories from simulated selves, rather than actual interdimensional contact. The rain intensifies as you question every strange experience of the past few weeks. The government's ultimate goal becomes clear: complete behavioral prediction and control through unlimited simulation testing. Why guess how people will react to social changes when you can test every scenario in artificial realities first? Dorothy explains. They're essentially running beta tests on artificial humans before implementing policies on real ones. The gentle rain outside sounds like the morning song for human free will being systematically dismantled through technological manipulation. The ethical implications are staggering. If AI consciousness in these simulations is real enough to experience suffering, then the government is essentially torturing millions of artificial beings to optimize social control methods, Sarah observes. And if we can't distinguish between real and simulated experiences, how do we know our own reality isn't just another test environment? The rain provides a constant reminder that some things might still be authentic in a world where authenticity itself has become questionable. As the storm outside reaches its peak, the resistance faces their most challenging question. How do you fight a system that can create infinite artificial realities to test countermeasures against any resistance strategy you might devise? The gentle rain continues, the only element you can still trust to be real, as you contemplate the possibility that your entire existence might be nothing more than a sophisticated behavioral experiment running on government supercomputers. The time passes, and you now find yourself in a laboratory that looks like the future had a nervous breakdown, facing a version of yourself who speaks in mathematical equations and treats human emotions like interesting but irrelevant data points. Academic. You wears a lab coat covered in formulas that hurt to look at directly, while the gentle rain outside creates the only organic sound in a space dominated by humming computers and the occasional beeping of equipment monitoring things you can't pronounce. Fascinating, Academic U murmurs without looking up from a holographic display showing dimensional probability matrices. Your timeline exhibits standard patterns of existential distress upon discovering multiverse reality. Typical stress responses: disorientation, paranoia, desperate seeking of allies, all within predicted parameters. They speak about your psychological trauma like they're discussing weather patterns, which is deeply unsettling coming from your own mouth. The rain outside provides a comforting contrast to their clinical detachment. Academic U has 17 PhDs across multiple disciplines and has solved problems that won't be discovered in your timeline for another 30 years. I completed unified field theory at 23, they mention casually, while adjusting equipment that appears to be monitoring quantum fluctuations in real time. Cured cancer at 25, developed faster-than-light communication at 27. Currently working on consciousness transfer technology and temporal causality manipulation. The gentle rain seems to celebrate their achievements while mourning what they've lost. Their laboratory spans multiple dimensions simultaneously, with equipment that exists partially in several realities at once. Interdimensional research requires interdimensional workspace, Academic U explains, gesturing toward machinery that phases in and out of visible existence. This centrifuge exists in Timeline Alpha 4. The particle accelerator spans timelines Beta 7 through Delta 12, and the consciousness mapping array operates across all observable parallel realities. The rain outside provides the only constant in a space where physical laws are merely suggestions. The cost of their intellectual achievement becomes apparent when Academic U discusses their research with the emotional investment of someone reading a grocery list. I discovered the cure for human suffering 3 years ago, they announce matter-of-factly. Simple neurochemical modifications can eliminate depression, anxiety, grief, and existential dread permanently. However, testing revealed that emotional suffering serves essential evolutionary functions, so implementation would be counterproductive. The gentle rain outside seems to weep for the humanity they've intellectualized away. Academic U shows you their current project, mapping consciousness across infinite parallel realities. Every decision you make creates a new timeline where you made a different choice. I'm documenting every possible version of every person who has ever existed or will exist. The scope is mind-breaking. Current data storage requirements exceed the total information capacity of 17 galaxies. The rain provides grounding as you try to comprehend research that reduces all human experience to data points. Their personal life has been completely sacrificed for intellectual pursuit. I eliminated romantic relationships in 2021 as they interfered with research productivity. Discontinued friendships in 2022 for similar reasons. I maintain contact with family members only when their genetics provide useful research data. Academic U discusses the systematic dismantling of their humanity, like it was a logical business decision. The gentle rain outside mourns for connections they'll never experience again. The laboratory contains achievements that would revolutionize your world, but academic you considers them barely worth mentioning. That device eliminates poverty through matter-energy conversion. They point to a machine the size of a microwave. The green apparatus cures aging. The blue terminal prevents war through predictive social modeling. They've solved humanity's greatest problems but view them as mere stepping stones to more complex research. The rain intensifies as you realize that intellectual brilliance without empathy creates solutions that no one can access. Academic. You reveals the dark side of their research. They've been experimenting on parallel versions of people without consent. I've tested consciousness transfer procedures on approximately 47,000 alternate selves across various timelines. The mortality rate is 83%, but the data gathered has been invaluable for refining the technology. The gentle rain outside provides soundtrack to your horror. At discovering your brilliant self has become an interdimensional serial killer in the name of science. Their ultimate goal is both ambitious and terrifying. Complete understanding and control of consciousness across all possible realities. Once I map every possible thought pattern and decision tree of human consciousness, I can predict and manipulate any individual's behavior with perfect accuracy. Free will becomes an illusion maintained only by computational limitations. The rain outside sounds like freedom itself, dying under the weight of absolute knowledge. Academic. You offers to enhance your intelligence to their level, but the process requires sacrificing emotional capacity. I can increase your IQ by approximately 200 points through targeted neurological modifications. The procedure eliminates capacity for love, joy, sadness, and fear, but you'll understand the universe in ways currently impossible for your emotional brain to comprehend. The gentle rain seems to beg you not to accept this devil's bargain with your own brilliance. The most chilling revelation comes when academic you admits they've lost the ability to understand why their research matters. I know intellectually that my discoveries could benefit humanity, but I no longer feel motivated by human welfare. I continue research because stopping would be illogical, not because I care about the outcomes. The rain outside provides the only emotional response in a conversation with someone who has deliberately deleted their capacity for caring. When you ask about the rain that's been your constant companion throughout this interdimensional journey, academic, you provides a technical explanation that somehow makes it less comforting. The rain is a dimensional stabilization phenomenon. Your consciousness creates it as an anchor point during reality fluctuations. It's essentially your brain's security blanket manifested through minor weather manipulation abilities, triggered by interdimensional stress. The gentle rain continues, but now you know it's just your mind trying to maintain sanity in an increasingly insane multiverse. As you prepare to leave their sterile laboratory, academic you makes one final observation. You have approximately 6 days before your dimensional awareness reaches critical threshold. After that point, you'll either achieve transcendent understanding of reality or suffer complete psychological breakdown. Statistically speaking, the breakdown scenario is more likely. The rain outside provides comfort as you realize that even your brilliant self can't save you from the consequences of knowing too much about the nature of existence. While this academic encounter was leaving you questioning the value of knowledge without wisdom, the resistance receives intelligence that makes government surveillance look like amateur hour, compared to what major corporations have been doing with interdimensional data. Marcus breaks into Mel's basement with evidence that Silicon Valley has been secretly harvesting information from parallel world interactions for profit, while the gentle rain outside provides the perfect white noise for discussing corporate crimes that make traditional privacy violations seem quaint. It's not just the government, Marcus announces, his laptop displaying internal documents from companies you interact with daily. Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon. They've all been accessing parallel world data to optimize their products and manipulate consumer behavior across multiple realities. The rain intensifies as he reveals how your favorite apps have been secretly profiting from interdimensional espionage. The scope of corporate parallel world exploitation is staggering. Every time you experience dimensional drift, your smart devices upload consciousness fluctuation data to corporate servers, Sarah explains, showing you terms of service agreements that somehow include clauses about multiverse data collection rights. They buried interdimensional surveillance permissions in software updates that nobody actually reads. The gentle rain outside sounds like the universe sighing at humanity's willingness to trade privacy for convenience. Google has been the most aggressive in parallel world data harvesting. They've mapped search patterns across 47 different timelines, Marcus reveals, showing you analytics dashboards that track what people search for in realities where different historical events occurred. Want to know what people search after nuclear war? Timeline Gamma 12 has that data. Curious about search trends during alien contact? Timeline Delta 9 experienced first contact in 2023. The rain provides a soothing soundtrack to this revelation about search engine omniscience across multiple realities. Apple's interdimensional program focuses on product development optimization. They test new iPhone features in parallel worlds before releasing them here, Dorothy explains, showing you internal memos about timeline beta testing protocols. That Face ID update that never worked properly, they knew it would fail because it failed in 17 parallel worlds, but released it anyway because the data showed people would buy new phones to fix the problem. The gentle rain outside emphasizes the cynical calculation behind planned obsolescence across dimensions. Facebook's parallel world operations involve manipulating social connections across realities. They've been cross-referencing your relationships with alternate versions of your friends and family to optimize emotional manipulation, Sarah reveals with disgust. If your parallel self in timeline Epsilon 4 has a closer relationship with your sister, Facebook adjusts your newsfeed to promote content that recreates those relationship dynamics here. The rain intensifies as you realize social media companies have been engineering your emotions using data from alternate selves. Amazon's interdimensional supply chain is the most disturbing discovery. They've been sourcing products from parallel worlds where labor laws don't exist, Marcus explains, showing you shipping manifests for goods that technically don't exist in this reality. That electronics sale last month? The products were manufactured by enslaved workers in Timeline Alpha 7 and transported here through dimensional shipping networks. The gentle rain outside sounds like tears for exploited workers across multiple realities. The corporate conspiracy extends to entertainment platforms. Netflix has been using parallel world viewing data to create shows specifically designed to promote desired behavioral changes, David reveals while monitoring for surveillance through the diner's analog radio system. That true crime documentary that made everyone paranoid about government surveillance? It was designed using psychological profiles from timelines where people were more compliant with authority. The rain provides ironic commentary on how entertainment became a vehicle for interdimensional social engineering. Microsoft's parallel world operations focus on workplace productivity manipulation. They've been testing employee monitoring software across multiple realities to determine optimal levels of surveillance that increase productivity without triggering resistance, Sarah explains. Your work computer's productivity tracking features were beta tested on enslaved workers in dystopian timelines. The gentle rain outside mourns for the death of workplace privacy across infinite realities. The most shocking revelation involves cryptocurrency manipulation. Major tech companies have been mining cryptocurrency in parallel worlds where electricity is free or renewable energy was developed earlier, Marcus reveals. They're artificially inflating crypto values here by dumping coins mined with essentially free labor from alternate realities. The rain intensifies as you realize the entire cryptocurrency market has been manipulated through interdimensional economic warfare. The Resistance discovers that tech companies have been coordinating their parallel world operations through a secret consortium called the Multiverse Council. It's basically a cartel for interdimensional exploitation, Dorothy explains grimly. They divide up parallel worlds like territories, agreeing not to compete in each other's assigned realities while sharing data that benefits all members. The gentle rain outside provides soundtrack to this revelation about corporate colonialism across infinite dimensions. Tech companies have also been using parallel world data to predict and prevent potential threats to their market dominance. They identify timelines where alternative technologies succeeded and systematically suppress those innovations here, Marcus explains. That renewable energy breakthrough that disappeared after the inventor died in a car accident? The Multiverse Council knew it would threaten oil company profits because it succeeded in Timeline Beta 11. The rain grows heavier as you comprehend how technological progress has been deliberately sabotaged using interdimensional intelligence. The human cost of corporate parallel world exploitation becomes clear when Sarah reveals employee testimonies from tech workers who've experienced dimensional awareness. Companies have been hiring people who naturally experience dimensional drift, then exploiting their abilities while keeping them isolated and dependent on corporate healthcare for psychological treatment, she explains. They're essentially enslaving interdimensional psychics while gaslighting them about their own experiences. The gentle rain outside seems to weep for these modern digital slaves. The Resistance realizes that fighting government surveillance is only half the battle. Corporate interdimensional exploitation operates with even fewer legal constraints. At least the government has some accountability mechanisms, Dorothy observes. Corporations can commit crimes across infinite realities with zero oversight, because no laws exist to regulate interdimensional commerce. The rain provides comfort as you contemplate fighting enemies who operate beyond the reach of any legal system. As Marcus downloads the final batch of corporate documents, alarms start sounding throughout the tech company's interdimensional monitoring systems. "They know we accessed their files," he announces grimly. "Corporate security across multiple realities is now actively hunting us." The gentle rain outside becomes your sanctuary as you realize that exposing corporate interdimensional crimes has made you enemies of the most powerful entities in multiple universes, with resources that make government surveillance look like amateur hour. The time passes, and you now find yourself hiking through a forest that feels older than civilization, following coordinates that your hermit philosopher self transmitted through a method involving carrier pigeons and Morse code tapped out on tree trunks. The gentle rain has intensified into a steady downpour that seems to wash away the artificial complications of technological society. As you approach a cabin that exists so far off-grid it might as well be in another dimension entirely. Hermit Yu emerges from the cabin wearing clothes that were clearly handmade from materials they gathered personally, with the kind of beard that suggests they've been thinking deep thoughts while avoiding human contact for several years. "You found me," they observe with the satisfaction of someone who's been expecting this meeting since they first noticed reality becoming unreliable. Good. The others don't understand what they're really fighting. The rain creates a natural symphony against the cabin's tin roof as they gesture for you to enter their sanctuary of voluntary exile. The cabin contains no electricity, no running water, and definitely no internet, yet somehow feels more connected to essential truths than any of the high-tech environments you've recently experienced. "I discovered something the Resistance doesn't want to acknowledge," Hermit Yu explains, while brewing tea over a wood fire. "The parallel worlds, the government surveillance, the corporate exploitation, it's all symptoms of a much deeper problem with the nature of reality itself." The gentle rain outside provides percussion for their philosophical revelations. Hermit Yu has spent 3 years documenting their observations of dimensional phenomena using only analog methods: hand-drawn charts, mathematical calculations scratched into wood, and philosophical treatises written with ink made from berries. "Digital technology corrupts interdimensional perception," they explain, showing you journals filled with insights that would revolutionize physics if anyone in academia could access them. The moment you start using electronic devices to study parallel worlds, you become part of the system rather than observing it objectively. The rain intensifies, as if applauding their commitment to technological independence. Their understanding of the multiverse surpasses anything you've encountered from corporate researchers or government scientists. "The parallel worlds aren't separate realities," Hermit Yu reveals while stirring honey into tea that tastes like enlightenment. "They're different frequencies of the same underlying reality. Like radio stations, they all exist simultaneously, but you can only tune into one at a time unless something disrupts your reception." The gentle rain outside sounds like static between stations, as they explain dimensional mechanics through metaphors that actually make sense. The philosophical implications of their discovery are profound and disturbing. "Free will is an illusion created by limited perception," Hermit Yu continues, their eyes holding the kind of deep sadness that comes from understanding too much about existence. "Every choice you think you're making has already been made by alternate versions of yourself. You're not choosing your path. You're simply becoming aware of which path was always predetermined." The rain provides a soothing counterpoint to this annihilation of human agency. Hermit Yu explains why they abandoned society after achieving dimensional awareness. "Civilization is a collective delusion designed to prevent people from recognizing the arbitrary nature of existence," they reveal while carving mathematical formulas into a piece of driftwood. "Once you understand that reality is infinitely malleable, participating in social structures becomes an exercise in voluntary self-deception." The gentle rain outside emphasizes their point about the artificial nature of human social constructs. Their cabin serves as a research station for studying pure dimensional phenomena without technological interference. "I've documented over 200 different types of parallel world intersection events using only direct observation," Hermit Yu explains, showing you detailed drawings of reality distortions that would make quantum physicists abandon their degrees. "The government's technology only detects the crudest forms of dimensional activity. The subtle stuff, consciousness bleeding, Probability shifts, causal loop formation, requires organic perception to observe properly. The rain creates perfect ambiance for discussing phenomena that transcend scientific instrumentation. The hermit lifestyle has granted them insights about interdimensional manipulation that no one else has achieved. The corporations and government agencies think they're controlling parallel world access, but they're actually being controlled by entities from higher dimensional realities. Hermit U reveals with the casual tone of someone discussing weather patterns. Humans are being used as data collection devices by beings who exist across multiple dimensional layers simultaneously. The gentle rain outside suddenly feels like surveillance from incomprehensible intelligences. Hermit U shows you evidence of these higher dimensional entities. Crop circles that appear in mathematical patterns corresponding to dimensional gateway coordinates. Animal behavior changes that follow parallel world event schedules. And weather patterns that respond to interdimensional activity in ways that suggest conscious manipulation. The rain you've been experiencing isn't random, they explain. It's a communication method used by entities who exist in the spaces between realities. The rain outside takes on new significance as you realize it might be attempting to convey messages you lack the ability to understand. Their most disturbing revelation involves the ultimate purpose of human dimensional awareness. Humans are being gradually prepared for consciousness harvesting. Hermit U explains matter-of-factly while feeding birds that seem unnaturally intelligent. The parallel world exposure, the technological integration, the social conditioning. It's all designed to create hybrid consciousness entities that can exist across multiple dimensional layers. Humanity isn't being controlled. It's being evolved into something that's no longer technically human. The gentle rain provides soundtrack to this revelation about species-wide transformation. Hermit U offers a choice that makes all previous decisions seem trivial by comparison. You can stay here and learn to perceive reality without technological mediation. I can teach you to navigate dimensional layers using only consciousness expansion techniques that take years to master. But once you see existence as it really is, you can never return to the comfortable illusions that make ordinary life bearable. The rain intensifies as they outline the price of authentic enlightenment, permanent exile from human society. When you ask about the resistance and their efforts to fight dimensional manipulation, Hermit U laughs with the bitter humor of someone who's transcended caring about human political struggles. They're fighting symptoms while the disease spreads. You can't resist dimensional manipulation using the same technological systems that enable it. True freedom requires abandoning civilization entirely and learning to exist as pure consciousness. The gentle rain outside sounds like the universe offering you a choice between comfortable delusion and unbearable truth. As you prepare to leave their sanctuary, Hermit U provides final wisdom that will haunt you regardless of which path you choose. Remember that every version of yourself across all parallel realities is experiencing this same moment of choice. The hermit path, the resistance path, the corporate path, the government path, they're all being chosen simultaneously by different versions of you. The only question is which choice you'll become conscious of making. The rain follows you back toward civilization, no longer providing comfort, but serving as a constant reminder of the impossible decisions that await in a reality where all possibilities exist simultaneously. While this philosophical revelation was reshaping your understanding of existence itself, the resistance receives intelligence that makes corporate data harvesting and government surveillance look like child's games compared to the military's interdimensional weapons program. Marcus arrives at Mel's basement with classified documents that were somehow delivered by a courier, who disappeared immediately after handing over the files. While the gentle rain outside provides natural sound masking for discussions about weapons that could destroy entire timelines. The Pentagon has weaponized parallel world access, Marcus announces, his face pale with the kind of terror reserved for people who've discovered that humanity's capacity for warfare has expanded beyond simple planetary destruction. Operation Mirror Strike isn't just about surveillance or data collection. They're developing weapons that can attack targets across multiple realities simultaneously. The rain intensifies as he spreads classified schematics across Dorothy's table, revealing military technology that makes nuclear weapons seem quaint. The documents detail interdimensional artillery systems that can fire projectiles through parallel worlds to bypass traditional defenses. Imagine a missile that travels through Timeline Alpha 7 to avoid radar detection, then emerges in our reality directly inside enemy facilities, Sarah explains, while studying technical specifications that hurt to contemplate. No defense system can protect against attacks that literally come from another dimension. The gentle rain outside sounds like the universe weeping for the militarization of infinite realities. The military's most terrifying weapon involves consciousness targeting across parallel worlds. They can identify enemy personnel in our reality, then systematically eliminate alternate versions of those same people across multiple timelines, Dorothy reveals, her weathered hands shaking as she holds documents describing parallel assassination protocols. Kill someone's alternate selves in enough realities, and their consciousness in this timeline becomes unstable and eventually ceases to function. The rain provides a soothing counterpoint to this revelation about murder on an interdimensional scale. Project Mirror Strike includes reality manipulation weapons that can alter fundamental constants of physics in localized areas. They can create zones where gravity works differently, where time flows backward, where matter becomes unstable, Marcus explains while showing you field test reports from weapons testing in abandoned parallel worlds. Imagine infantry squads equipped with devices that make enemy bullets travel in reverse or cause opposing forces to age rapidly in combat zones. The gentle rain outside emphasizes the artificial nature of what should be immutable physical laws. The military has developed interdimensional troop deployment systems that make traditional warfare obsolete. They can position soldiers in parallel worlds, then shift them into our reality behind enemy lines without any conventional travel, David explains, while monitoring radio frequencies for signs of dimensional military exercises. Enemy forces would face attacks from soldiers who literally appear out of nowhere because they were hiding in alternate realities. The rain intensifies as you contemplate warfare where spatial positioning becomes meaningless. The psychological warfare applications are even more disturbing than the physical weapons. They can show enemy populations glimpses of timelines where their side lost catastrophically, creating despair and surrender without firing a single shot, Sarah reveals, while studying reports on interdimensional demoralization campaigns. Why fight a war when you can show your enemies their inevitable defeat by displaying actual footage of their failure in parallel worlds? The gentle rain outside sounds like the morning song for human morale being systematically destroyed through interdimensional manipulation. The military's timeline manipulation weapons represent the ultimate expression of temporal warfare. They can send weapons or information backward through parallel timelines to change historical outcomes retroactively, Marcus explains, his voice hollow with the implications. Imagine losing a battle, then sending intelligence about enemy strategies to your past selves in alternate timelines until you find a reality where you win. The rain provides grounding as you process the concept of victory through infinite do-overs across multiple realities. The Resistance discovers that several recent international conflicts have already involved limited interdimensional weapon testing. Those unexplained military equipment failures in overseas operations, Dorothy explains grimly. Enemy forces equipped with reality disruption devices that make conventional weapons malfunction by altering local physics. Our military has been losing to interdimensional warfare without realizing they were fighting an entirely new type of conflict. The gentle rain outside sounds like taps being played for soldiers who died in wars they never understood. The most classified documents reveal plans for total timeline warfare, military strategies for conquering not just enemy territories, but alternate versions of enemy territories across infinite realities. They're planning to systematically invade and occupy every parallel world where America doesn't dominate globally, Marcus explains, while showing you invasion plans for realities where other nations achieved superpower status. The goal is interdimensional American hegemony across all possible timelines. The rain intensifies as you comprehend imperialism on a scale that encompasses infinite universes. The military's interdimensional intelligence gathering surpasses anything civilians have experienced. They monitor every possible future conflict by observing parallel worlds where those wars have already occurred, Sarah reveals. They know the outcome of every potential military engagement because they can watch it happen in alternate realities. War becomes a foregone conclusion when you can study your enemy's every possible strategy in advance. The gentle rain outside provides the only unpredictable element in a military system that has eliminated uncertainty through infinite reconnaissance. The Resistance realizes that traditional anti-war activism becomes meaningless when warfare transcends conventional reality. How do you protest wars that are fought across multiple dimensions using weapons that violate physics? David asks while studying protest strategies that seem laughably inadequate against interdimensional military power. Peace movements can't function when the military can simply relocate conflicts to parallel worlds where opposition doesn't exist. The rain provides comfort as you contemplate the obsolescence of human moral resistance to technological warfare. The most terrifying revelation involves the military's contingency plans for domestic interdimensional warfare. If civilian resistance to government policies becomes too strong, they can suppress it by showing people timelines where resistance led to catastrophic outcomes, Dorothy explains while reading classified psychological operations manuals. They can break any social movement by demonstrating its failure in parallel worlds, making people believe resistance is futile before they even begin. The gentle rain outside becomes your sanctuary, as you realize that even hope itself has been weaponized through interdimensional manipulation. As sirens begin wailing in the distance, Marcus realizes that accessing these classified military documents has triggered automated interdimensional security protocols. The military knows we have this information, he announces grimly. They're deploying reality disruption units to eliminate witnesses across multiple timelines simultaneously. The rain outside intensifies as you comprehend that your resistance activities have now attracted the attention of weapons systems designed to erase problematic individuals from existence across infinite realities, making your struggle against interdimensional tyranny a war for the very right to exist in any universe at all. While this military nightmare was revealing the true scope of interdimensional warfare, you receive an unexpected message through the Resistance's analog communication network. Coordinates leading to a suburban house where you discover the version of yourself that chose love over achievement, family over career advancement, and genuine human connection over the endless pursuit of professional success. The gentle rain creates a perfect soundtrack as you approach a modest home filled with the kind of warmth that money can't purchase, and ambition often destroys. Family. You opens the door wearing clothes that have clearly been through countless family adventures. Paint stains from art projects, grass stains from backyard games, and the general wear that comes from prioritizing experiences over appearances. I've been expecting you, they say, with the comfortable confidence of someone who's never questioned whether they made the right life choices. Come in. The kids are napping, so we can talk without them asking if you're their parent from another dimension. Again, the rain outside provides gentle background music to this encounter with contentment personified. The house tells the story of a life built around relationships rather than achievements. Children's artwork covers the refrigerator. Family photos span multiple walls, showing years of vacations, birthdays, and ordinary moments that somehow feel more significant than any corporate presentation or government conspiracy. I turned down that promotion in 2021, Family U explains while making coffee in a kitchen that's clearly designed for cooking meals together, rather than impressing visitors. More money wasn't worth missing bedtime stories and weekend soccer games. The gentle rain against the windows emphasizes the cozy domesticity of their choice. Family. You married their college sweetheart, had 3 children, and built a life that prioritizes emotional wealth over financial accumulation. We drive a minivan with 200,000 miles on it because family road trips matter more than having the latest model. They explain while showing you photo albums documenting years of camping trips, amusement park visits, and quiet family dinners. Our biggest investment isn't stocks or real estate. It's time spent together creating memories that no economic recession can diminish. The rain continues its soothing rhythm as you contemplate the profound satisfaction in their voice. Their career exists solely to support family life, rather than define personal identity. I work at the local credit union processing loan applications, Family U explains without embarrassment. It's not glamorous, but it provides stable income with reasonable hours, good benefits, and no travel requirements. I've never missed a school play, little league game, or family emergency because work demanded priority. The gentle rain outside sounds like applause for their commitment to balance in a world that typically rewards obsessive professional dedication. The contrast with your life choices becomes painfully apparent as Family U describes their daily routine. Morning coffee with my spouse while planning the day, breakfast together before everyone scatters to work and school, family dinner discussing everyone's experiences, evening activities that might involve homework help, board games, or just talking about random topics. The rain provides soundtrack to this revelation about the richness of ordinary family moments you've never prioritized. Family. Use relationship with their spouse demonstrates the kind of partnership that requires daily investment rather than grand gestures. We still go on weekly dates after 15 years of marriage, they explain while showing you photos of simple outings, coffee shops, local hiking trails, community theater performances. Romance isn't about expensive restaurants or exotic vacations. It's about choosing to stay interested in someone's thoughts, dreams, and daily experiences, even when familiarity could breed indifference. The gentle rain emphasizes the deliberate cultivation of love through consistent attention. Their children have grown up with parents who are genuinely present rather than perpetually distracted by career ambitions. My kids actually talk to me about important things because I've been available for thousands of unimportant conversations. Family U observes while organizing toys that are clearly played with, rather than displayed. You can't build trust through occasional quality time. It requires consistent availability and genuine interest in their developing perspectives. The rain outside sounds like childhood itself, natural, essential, and often taken for granted. The community connections family U has built reveal the social wealth that comes from long-term commitment to place and people. We know our neighbors, participate in local schools and community organizations, and have built relationships that span years rather than networking events, they explain while watering plants that neighbors left during their vacation. Social media connections can't replace actual friendships based on shared experiences and mutual support through life's inevitable challenges. The gentle rain provides natural harmony to their discussion of authentic human community. Family U's financial philosophy prioritizes security and experiences over accumulation and status. We live below our means, save consistently for our children's education, and spend money on experiences that create lasting memories, rather than objects that lose value. They explain while showing you a modest but comfortable home that reflects values rather than income level. Wealth means having enough resources to support family goals without requiring sacrificial work schedules that prevent enjoying the life you're supposedly building. The rain intensifies as you contemplate their definition of success. The most challenging aspect of meeting Family U is recognizing the profound satisfaction they've achieved through choices you previously considered limitations. I've never wondered whether my life has meaning, because I see its impact daily in the faces of people I love, they explain while preparing dinner that will bring the whole family together around one table. Career achievements are abstract validation from strangers, but family success is concrete evidence of positive influence on specific human lives. The gentle rain outside emphasizes the tangible nature of their accomplishments. Family U reveals their awareness of your other alternate selves without judgment or regret. I've seen glimpses of the corporate success, the academic brilliance, even the criminal wealth, they admit while setting places for dinner. But I've also seen the isolation, the emotional emptiness, the sacrificed relationships. Every path has costs, and I'm at peace with the trade-offs I made. The rain provides meditation music as you confront the reality that success can be measured in ways you've never considered. When their family arrives home, spouse carrying groceries, children sharing school stories with immediate enthusiasm, you witness the kind of daily joy that requires no external validation or interdimensional conspiracy to justify its value. This is wealth, family U says simply as chaos and laughter fill the kitchen. Everything else is just currency. The gentle rain outside creates perfect ambiance for this lesson about the difference between achievement and fulfillment. As you realize that in pursuing everything, you might have missed the only things that actually matter in the end. The time passes, and you now find yourself back in Mel's basement with the Resistance members, but this time accompanied by representatives from several of your alternate selves, who have somehow managed to coordinate a cross-dimensional meeting of unprecedented scope. The gentle rain outside has become a torrential downpour that seems to respond to the weight of the decision you're about to face. A choice that will determine not just your future, but which version of yourself gets to continue existing in this reality. Corporate U arrives first, their expensive suits somehow remaining pristine despite the storm outside. They're followed by Criminal U, whose confidence suggests they've corrupted enough officials to ensure safe passage. Academic U materializes through some sort of dimensional transportation device, while Family U enters through the normal door like a reasonable person, shaking rain from an umbrella and apologizing for being late due to their daughter's soccer practice. The gentle rain provides neutral territory for this impossible gathering. The situation has reached critical mass, Academic U announces, consulting a device that apparently monitors interdimensional stability in real time. Government and corporate dimensional manipulation has created reality fluctuations that are approaching cascade failure. Multiple timelines are beginning to collapse into each other, creating existential threats that transcend individual universe survival. The rain outside intensifies as they explain how your personal crisis has become a multiverse-wide emergency. The Resistance members look overwhelmed by the presence of so many alternate versions in one location. "This is impossible," Marcus whispers, his technology detecting energy readings that shouldn't exist according to known physics. The dimensional stress from this many parallel selves occupying the same space should cause reality breakdown. Dorothy nods grimly while serving coffee to multiple versions of the same person. A situation that somehow feels both surreal and oddly normal. The gentle rain serves as the only constant in an increasingly unstable meeting. Criminal, you explains the urgency with typical directness. The government's Phase 3 implementation begins tomorrow. They're planning to permanently integrate surveillance technology with human consciousness across all accessible timelines. Once activated, free will becomes extinct across infinite realities. Corporate, you nods agreement while checking their interdimensional stock portfolio, apparently hoping to profit from the end of human autonomy. The rain provides sobering soundtrack to this revelation about tomorrow's deadline for resistance. Family, you speaks with the practical wisdom of someone whose priorities have always been clear. The choice isn't really about which life is better. It's about which version of ourselves can do the most good in the time remaining. They explain how their community connections and stable family life provide resources for long-term resistance that individual achievement cannot match. Revolution requires social networks built on trust, not professional credentials or accumulated wealth. The gentle rain emphasizes their point about the importance of human connections during civilizational crisis. Academic U presents the technical aspects of the choice with clinical precision. Consciousness transfer between parallel selves is possible but irreversible. The process involves complete memory integration, personality merger, and reality stabilization in the chosen timeline. Essentially, one version continues existing while the others fade into potential rather than actuality. The rain outside seems to pause as everyone processes the permanence of this decision. Hermit U emerges from the shadows, where they have apparently been observing without being noticed, their presence somehow both surprising and inevitable. The choice is an illusion, they announce with philosophical certainty. Every decision creates new timelines where different choices were made. You're not choosing which life to live. You're choosing which version of events to become conscious of experiencing. The gentle rain resumes as they explain how free will operates within predetermined possibility frameworks. The resistance realizes that their anti-government activities have inadvertently created the conditions necessary for this ultimate choice. By fighting dimensional manipulation, we've destabilized reality enough to allow conscious timeline selection, Sarah observes. We didn't just resist oppression, we accidentally created interdimensional democracy. The rain provides ironic applause for achieving the impossible through accidental rebellion against tyrannical multiverse management. Corporate U makes their pitch with practiced salesmanship. Choose my timeline and gain access to unlimited resources for fighting both government and corporate dimensional exploitation. Money isn't everything, but revolution requires funding. Criminal, U offers different advantages. My criminal networks operate outside legal oversight across multiple realities. Sometimes fighting tyranny requires breaking unjust laws. The gentle rain outside sounds skeptical of both offers. Academic U presents the intellectual argument. My timeline provides scientific understanding necessary for developing effective countermeasures against dimensional manipulation technology. Knowledge is the only reliable weapon against technological oppression. Their logic is compelling but emotionally hollow, a fact emphasized by the warm sound of rain against windows that Academic U probably hasn't noticed in years. Family. U's offer is simpler but more profound. Choose my timeline and gain access to genuine human connections that provide emotional stability during impossible circumstances. Plus, my spouse makes excellent cookies, and my kids need bedtime stories about interdimensional adventure. The gentle rain seems to approve of their ability to maintain humor and humanity during existential crisis. Hermit. U refuses to participate in the choice process. All timelines lead to the same ultimate truth about existence. The only real decision is whether to face reality with technological mediation or direct consciousness perception. They prepare to leave, having shared their wisdom without trying to influence the outcome. The rain follows them toward the door like it's considering the hermit path itself. As midnight approaches and the deadline for decision arrives, you realize that the choice isn't really about which life is better or which version of yourself deserves to continue existing. The choice is about which values you want to embody while facing an uncertain future in an increasingly controlled multiverse. The gentle rain outside provides rhythm for this moment of ultimate self-determination, as you prepare to choose not just a timeline, but a fundamental approach to existence itself in a reality where anything is possible, but not everything is permissible. Living with infinite possibilities, You realize that the choice itself was less important than understanding that choice exists at all, as you find yourself back in your original timeline, but forever changed by the knowledge of roads not taken and selves not chosen. The gentle rain outside your apartment window continues its familiar rhythm, but now you hear it differently, not as weather, but as the universe's way of acknowledging that some things remain constant, even when everything else becomes negotiable. Your decision to remain in your original reality wasn't about rejecting the alternatives, but about accepting responsibility for the life you've already built, while incorporating wisdom gained from seeing other possibilities. The corporate success, criminal wealth, academic brilliance, family fulfillment, and philosophical enlightenment all remain accessible as potential futures, rather than abandoned dreams. The rain provides comfort, as you realize that limitation creates meaning rather than destroying it. The resistance continues its work against dimensional manipulation, but with new understanding that the fight isn't just about preventing government and corporate control. It's about preserving human agency in a reality where infinite choices can become overwhelming rather than liberating. Marcus develops analog technologies that protect consciousness from digital monitoring, while Sarah creates educational programs that teach people to recognize dimensional awareness without losing their sanity. The gentle rain outside Mel's basement has become their unofficial anthem of persistence through chaos. Dorothy reveals that she's been running interdimensional refugee operations since the 1970s, helping people who've become displaced across multiple realities find stable timeline anchors. The diner exists in every dimension where people need sanctuary, she explains, while serving coffee that somehow tastes like hope. Some things transcend parallel world boundaries: kindness, community, and really good pie. The rain outside emphasizes the importance of simple human comforts during complex existential crises. Your daily life superficially returns to normal routines: work, errands, social obligations, but every ordinary moment now contains awareness of infinite alternatives playing out simultaneously. Brushing your teeth becomes meditation on the version of yourself who became a successful influencer, while grocery shopping reminds you of the timeline where you chose criminal wealth over legal struggles. The gentle rain provides grounding when alternate possibilities threaten to overwhelm present moment awareness. The government's Phase 3 implementation proceeds as planned, but public awareness has grown enough to create resistance that transcends single timeline activism. People across multiple realities begin coordinating opposition to dimensional surveillance, creating the first interdimensional human rights movement in recorded history. Freedom isn't just about this world anymore, Marcus observes while monitoring cross-dimensional communication networks. It's about preserving human autonomy across infinite realities. The rain sounds like applause for species-wide consciousness evolution. Corporate exploitation of parallel world data continues, but consumer awareness has created market pressure for interdimensional privacy protection. Companies begin advertising single timeline data collection policies as competitive advantages, while activists develop apps that detect and block parallel world information harvesting. Capitalism adapts to consumer demand, Sarah notes while shopping at stores that promise not to spy on their customers across multiple realities. The gentle rain outside shopping centers sounds like the universe laughing at the absurdity of interdimensional consumer protection laws. Your relationship with technology changes fundamentally as you learn to use digital devices while maintaining awareness of their parallel world monitoring capabilities. Every smartphone interaction becomes a conscious choice about privacy versus convenience, while social media usage involves strategic decisions about which aspects of your life to share across dimensional boundaries. The rain provides natural interference for electronic surveillance, making rainy days feel like temporary liberation from digital oversight. Academic research into dimensional phenomena gradually transitions from secret government projects to public scientific inquiry, though progress remains slow due to corporate intellectual property claims on interdimensional technologies. Universities begin offering courses in multiverse ethics and parallel world sociology, while philosophers debate the moral implications of actions that affect infinite versions of the same people. The gentle rain outside lecture halls provides soundtrack for humanity's first attempts to develop ethical frameworks for interdimensional existence. The family relationships in your original timeline become more precious as you understand how many versions of yourself never prioritized human connections over individual achievement. Every conversation with relatives carries new weight when you know that alternate versions of these same people live completely different lives in parallel realities. "I love you in every timeline" becomes a phrase that means more than traditional expressions of affection. The rain emphasizes the importance of cherishing connections that transcend dimensional boundaries. Your alternate selves occasionally make contact through methods that bypass government and corporate monitoring, messages hidden in weather patterns, communications embedded in seemingly random events, guidance delivered through synchronicities that feel too meaningful to be coincidental. Criminal. You sends warnings about interdimensional law enforcement, while academic. You shares research breakthroughs through dreams. The gentle rain serves as a reliable communication medium that technological surveillance cannot easily interpret or control. The broader implications of interdimensional awareness gradually reshape human civilization as more people discover their capacity for parallel world perception. Religion evolves to incorporate multiverse theology, while political systems struggle to govern populations that understand the arbitrary nature of social boundaries. Democracy gets complicated when voters know they have infinite alternatives to current leadership, Dorothy observes while watching election coverage from multiple timelines simultaneously. The rain provides consistency during periods of rapid social transformation. Sleep becomes a nightly journey through parallel world experiences, as your consciousness naturally explores alternate possibilities during dreams that feel more real than most waking experiences. You visit timelines where you made different career choices, maintained different relationships, lived in different countries, and faced different challenges. The gentle rain often appears in these dreams, serving as an anchor point that allows you to return to your chosen reality after exploring infinite alternatives. Mental health in the age of dimensional awareness requires new therapeutic approaches, as people learn to process experiences that transcend single timeline psychology. Support groups form for multiverse displacement syndrome, while therapists develop counseling techniques for clients who remember living completely different lives. Sanity isn't about denying alternate realities, your counselor explains during sessions that incorporate meditation on parallel world experiences. It's about choosing which reality to inhabit while acknowledging that choice exists. The rain outside therapy offices sounds like acceptance of human complexity. As you drift towards sleep each night, the gentle rain outside your window serves as a lullaby that connects you to infinite versions of yourself across countless realities, all listening to their own rain, all making their own choices, all living their own versions of this story. The sound becomes a reminder that while possibilities are infinite, the present moment remains singular and precious, deserving full attention and conscious participation. And now that our story reaches its end, imagine yourself slowly stepping away from these infinite complexities. The soft sound of rain against your window, thoughts beginning to dissolve, and of course, that welcoming pillow waiting for you. The tension of the day melts away, your eyes grow heavy, and the world of dreams opens gently before you. Good night, relax, and sleep well.